Hello there, I'm Charlie Haldeman in for Cynthia tonight. It's been 1 month since Aeroframe closed suddenly, leaving hundreds without work or their final paychecks. Now comes the first lawsuits filed against that company. KPLC's Gerron Jordan has read through the pages of the lawsuit and is in the studio with more. Gerron?
Charlie, it's the first time we're hearing details of what may have led to Aeroframe's closure. Identical lawsuits were filed yesterday in Cameron and Calcasieu Parish on behalf of 12 former Aeroframe employees. Now, it's fairly brief and to the point, listing 4 claims the employees are suing on. But what's surprising is that it lists a second party as a defendant. In a 6-page petition, former Aeroframe employees are attempting to hold the company accountable for unpaid wages. But there's a twist.
There's actually another defendant here who we believe is responsible ultimately for the damages that they have suffered, including their last paychecks.
That defendant is listed in court documents as Aviation Technical Services, or ATS, an airplane maintenance company based in Washington State.
They got access to some confidential financial information, and they exploited that information to force Aeroframe into a premature closure because they weren't able to strike a deal.
The lawsuit claims ATS and Aeroframe were in talks regarding a possible merger or buyout. ATS entered into a 30-day look period, which gave them the chance to look at Aeroframe's confidential financial information. But when ATS and Aeroframe couldn't reach a deal and AAR came into the picture, the lawsuit claims ATS acted in retaliation, using the confidential information they had already looked into to derail any new plans.
Some deals that had been negotiated on some outstanding loans and things of that nature to go and then buy those loans from the banks and from the creditors of Aeroframe and to foreclose on those loans to accelerate the foreclosure in order to force Aeroframe when they knew Aeroframe couldn't make good on them at that time in the full amount.
The employees are suing on 4 claims, including violations of the Louisiana Last Paycheck Law, the Louisiana Civil Code, Article 2315, interference with contract, and unfair trade practices.
Because they weren't able to come to a deal, they tried to do something to disrupt another deal that would have been beneficial to a lot of people, employees, vendors, Chenault.
Now, the lawsuit also claims the deal between Aeroframe and AAR was, quote, anticipated to have resulted in a smooth continuation of the MRO business in Lake Charles and would have resulted in adequate funding to cover all outstanding expenses of Aeroframe, including wages, end quote. But the lawsuit goes on to say ATS purposefully disrupted that deal. Now, a lawsuit only presents the grievance of one party against others. It does not present both sides of the issue in question, so we reached out to ATS for comment on the filing of that lawsuit. They said they have no comment on the matter, and we're still waiting to hear from former Aeroframe CEO Roger Porter. At your service, Gerron Jordan, KPLC 7 News.